Hi, welcome to Advocating for an Equity Mindset. With me is Dr. Kimiya Sohrab Maghzi, and I am Marni Fisher. So before we start, this presentation is designed to be inside out. So it's interactive, resources are hyperlinked. You're going to want the QR code, which is on display right here, so you can grab the whole presentation with all the associated links for yourself. You also might want to have a phone for scanning QR codes or a laptop for opening links if you have grabbed the slides. So we start by thinking about equity. Understanding involves critical elements, defining it, and what is equity is not. So we're going to start with thinking about, have we thought about equity? So pull out your phone, scan the QR code, and take a look at where we are thinking about equity in relation to our colleges.
There are three critical elements of equity. One, the first is the educator's personal connection to this work. And then the next is the institution's embrace of systemic change and progress. And the third is the professional practice teachers and administrators implement on an everyday basis towards implementing equity and justice. Yeah. This means equity comes from our own personal connection to equity work. Also, our college's systematic change and progress towards equity and our daily professional practice as educators. Two out of these three are directly in our hands to make a difference. However, for the third component, we all need to work together for this to be possible. You see in this image here the difference between equity and equality. If we were just to provide equality to everyone would have access to a bike, the same bike. However, an individual who's using a power chair or wheelchair, when given even that same bike, could not access or use that bike. Whereas in an equitable situation, each individual is given a bike that's tailored to their needs. For example, a shorter person like myself, that's shorter in stature, would have a smaller bike, whereas maybe a taller person like Dr. Fisher would have a bigger bike. Whereas an individual who uses a power chair or wheelchair would maybe have a bike that's a reclining bike that's appropriate for their needs. In this image that comes from Lynch et al., you see, and the illustration is by Maguire, you see the difference between equality, equity, and in fact, what we can really strive for is liberation, where in an equitable situation, each individual is given the amount of boxes they need to see over this fence. But in a liberatory situation where everyone can participate, there is no barrier. There are no barriers. But for now, we want to make sure as educators, we think about how are we giving access to the resources and things that will give everyone in our classroom equal opportunity to participate and be active participants and can see over this fence. So what equity is not? It's not a bag of tricks. It's not seeking equality. It's not being colorblind, right? We are teaching in a state where we know there is an achievement gap, but we need help seeing the underlying causes of this achievement gap.
So why equity? The achievement gap means that there's challenges and barriers getting in the way for some learners. They're experienced especially by our traditionally marginalized students, And it reduces completion and success statistics. And as you can see, there's a lot of different articles available on the site here. Think for a minute about what it means to serve the top 100% of students. What does it really mean if every student has access to learning in an equitable way? Considering our students, both for ourselves and for teachers in the K-12, we have millions of students going here. A lot in K-12, a lot, 2 million in college, community college, and higher education. We have 2 million undergrads and over 300,000 graduate students. Of these 3+ million students, over 75% are from non-white backgrounds. 49% are female. For K-12, 56% are Hispanic or Latinx. In community college, 3 out of 5 are low income, and 1 out of 5 are English language learners. For this workshop, it continues on to look at 3 equity lenses, and then it also looks at hands-on applications and ways that we can improve student access from the start, both within our own classes and in teaching teacher candidates on how to build these structures within their own classrooms at the K-12 level. We look forward to seeing you at the workshop on November 8th. Thank you.